Afternoon, troopers. I'm fat, but that's the way your mum likes it. And you know how angry she gets when she doesn't get her own way. The heart wants what the heart wants. It's cooled down a little bit in the man cave today, which is great because last night when I did that video I had a very sweaty helmet. And it's a much cooler environment today. So I'm much more relaxed, and it feels weird doing it in daylight because normally I do these videos quite late at night. But we digress. I hope you're all doing well this afternoon. I want to talk to you tonight about a console that a lot of people mention on a couple of the forums I'm on Facebook. Forums? Are there forums on Facebook? Groups on Facebook, and that is the mighty Dreamcast. Now this is my main Dreamcast. I've got two. I don't know. I've got two, right? It's a long story. And it's in this blue case. I don't think this is a special one. From what I gather, these blue cases were widely available because it hasn't got serial numbers and stuff on the bottom. So it's not legit. It's an aftermarket thing, but it looks snazzy. See-through blue. Very late 2000s, very late 1990s, sorry. If you remember the old iMacs, they had these colours. Everything was like this. So it's cool. So it looks lovely. Now, I wouldn't say by any means I'm an expert on the Dreamcast, but I do really like it. And I really like the games it's got, because it's got some real killer apps. And it was, people say it was ahead of its time, and it's become a real gaming cliche. Oh, of course, the Dreamcast was ahead of its time. Yes, it was. It was, but it was also the first of that generation of the PS2 and the GameCube, maybe, that started using disc media and started having things like a built-in modem, which apparently cost $15 a unit. So from the start, if you know anything about this, it was sort of doomed to failure because the Saturn had just been a wreck, which is a shame because the Saturn's a really nice console too, but it was, if anything, behind the times. And the Saturn, if anything, sorry, the Saturn was behind the times. The Dreamcast probably pushed a little bit too far because yes, it's got a modem in it, but at the time not every house had internet. So that's $15. The vast majority have never been online. So that, even today, so that's $15 per unit that you've wasted. But it looks nice. They do look nice. They're a lovely object. It's hard to show you on this one. I can't be bothered to dig my white one out. It's not white anyway. It's like a pub roof. It's nicotine. It's not nicotine, but they're just yellow. But they look nice, you know. And it looks of that time. And you open up the inside of it, and it's not much bigger than the CD. It's not a huge chunky thing like the Saturn's a right beast. And the PS2 when it first came out, the first PS2, if you've only had the slimlines, the PS2's, you know, it's like a cricket bat. So the console itself looks pretty. And it's got some really nice outputs on the back. It's got, I believe it's dancing towards, not HD, but it's dancing towards the first games console with higher, it had higher definition VGA or whatever that you didn't get on others. It wasn't just a phono out. And it's got a serial slot, and it's got a line for your in Ethernet. And then you've got four on the front, 4 controllers, and that's it. You've got a couple of vents. It's a very elegant, pleasing, timeless design. And I really, really like the name, and I like the logo. It didn't feel corporate. It feels fresh. I remember in '98 I was in Forbidden Planet in Stoke and I saw a poster for this, and it just looked so fresh and futuristic and of its time. It amazes me it didn't do better, but there's reasons I think why, and we'll get into that in a minute. So that's the console. The controller is either genius or bonkers, depending on your opinion. So this is the controller. Some people have never seen a Dreamcast controller. Probably. I don't know. I like it. So it's got the CD motif. That's the same size as a CD. It's a CD motif. And then we've got 2 slots. Get that N64. It's got two slots on the top, which I can't get into. Oh yeah, there we go. So you've got your VMU slot, which I'll show you in a minute, and then a rumble pack. They were the thing that you wanted in them days. And then it sits in your hand quite pleasantly. In an ideal world, I think it could have done with being slightly wider. I mean, I'm a big guy. I've not particularly got huge hands. Big hands, bro! But after a bit, it doesn't quite feel that comfortable. My index finger, because there's shoulder buttons, but they're very inboard. So you've got to be like that. Otherwise, you're scraping your nails. Oh. So that could have been slightly bigger. But I think control-wise, button-wise, it looks really elegant. You've got the 4 coloured buttons there, X, Y, A, B. You've got the very, very smooth, nice. I mean, compared to the N64 joystick, that is just, that feels like a PS4. And then the normal D-pad, the cross-pad. I remember, my perception when I've been playing it is, I think the joystick should have been on the other side. But then, I don't know, it never quite clicked with me, but I think that's because I'm so used to PlayStations, because PlayStations are my sort of number one. They're my number one girl, PlayStations are, and I think they always will be. Anyway, back to Dreamcast, could not talk about PlayStation. So the triggers are really nicely sprung. The buttons are really nicely to press. We love the joystick. We love the D-pad pretty much. It's not ideal because obviously I think Nintendo would proper grasp the 4-button copyright. Or it might be, I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, it's got a cross. And I prefer the 4 buttons like you get on a PlayStation. PlayStation again. Can't talk about your ex, can you? The VMU was basically a memory card. But it had a little screen on it. And there was mini games and there was little images that you'd pop up. So like on on Tomb Raider, there'd be a picture of Lara Croft. You could, I mean, it's a glorified Tamagotchi screen. So you're never going to have like a mini map on there that's going to be like a Switch. It's not like the Wii U where you've got the full screen in front of you and the full screen on the telly. But it was a handy little thing. And it just gave you a little bit of information while you're gaming. And the thing is, it just felt nice. It just looked like there'd been a bit of love and a bit of thought and a bit of boundaries being pushed. And also, how much must that have cost to make compared to just a standard PlayStation memory card, which I've got here actually. How is that? So what's that? That's literally a chip, a PCB in a plastic thing. Boom. Buttons, bruv. Where's your buttons? You haven't even got any buttons on. Got buttons on the screen. Could play Tetris on this, bruv. So they're really nice. So I like the controllers. When you've got a VMU and the rumble pack, the controller's a bit unwieldy. And also, yeah, the cable comes out the bottom. But they've actually put a little cable guide. Cable guide! So, it's not the worst in the world, but by doing that, you're instantly losing 4 inches of your cable. And some people can't lose 4 inches. Some people, that's all they've got. So, instantly you're losing 4 inches of your cable, but I can see why they did it, because you wanted to have the 2 slots on the front, and that makes a massive difference. It means you can have 2 things. How many times have you been like playing on your N64 and it's either rumble pack or memory card? Well, this is both. It's both. So that's the hardware pretty much summed up. And to go back in time, console, really nice, really fresh. The logo, really nice. Controller, really nice but a bit clumsy. But when it comes to the Dreamcast, it's the software. And the games were amazing. Now, if you're going out and buying one, which I do suggest, if you're into older games, it's a nice gateway drug, Dreamcast is. Because it's not a faff to set up. It plugs into your telly, it works on normal modern TVs. And it's old, but it's not that old that you think, oh my God, what am I playing here? This is terrible. Do you know what I mean? I think it's more midlife PS2 graphics. If you're going to so if you're imagining playing an early to midlife PS2 game, although sometimes they're even better, which I'm going to get to in a minute. So that's a nice guide for where they are. So if you like GameCube games, GameCube style graphics, PS2 level graphics, it's a step up from N64, it's a step up from the Saturn, but it's nowhere near PS3. But the games are the strong point. And why this console didn't become, well, I know why it didn't become, because it was too expensive to make, they marketed it wrong, and Sony just absolutely blitzed the world with the PlayStation family. But if you are getting a Dreamcast, I suggest you do, get a console, get a controller, and then get Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi's on the PS2, and I think it's on the original. Yeah, it's on the original Xbox as well. Forget that, right? You're looking at it through sweetie wrappers when you're playing it on that. You're looking at it in a mirror. It's not the correct way to play Crazy Taxi. The correct Crazy Taxi is this, right? It's got brands on it. Oh, take me to KFC. On the PS2, it's like, oh, take me to the burger joint. It's got music. The soundtrack's stunning. It's just, I'm just looking at it now thinking I want to play this game. I mean, look at the screenshots at the back. Can you even see that? You know, what a game Crazy Taxi is, right? And it's not mega money either. So Crazy Taxi is your first game you buy when you buy a Dreamcast. I also recommend it. It's another driving game, but Metropolis Street Racing. It's not got the world's supply of cars on it. It's not like GT Gran Turismo 2, which still I think's got. I like Gran Turismo 2 is my favourite because you had all the cars on it, but it gave you a little like a bio of them. So they're telling you about where it was made and who designed it, and you didn't get that on later games. And I really like that because I'm a car nut. I've restored 2 classic cars, and I really like cars, and I love old cars, and not just fast, old, expensive ones. I like rough around the edges Morris Minors and old Fords, and you know anything old that's got a bit of story. Because the roughest, nastiest old car you see will have been brand new to someone once, and it would have broke their heart when they went to go and pick it up, and it would have made their day. So that's why I like cars. So MSR. The Vauxhall 220 is a big game, a big car in it, and the MGF, which I've owned, and I can tell you it drives very similar to this game. Doesn't crash enough. So that's your first 2 games you've got to buy. Third game you've got to buy, Virtua Fighter 3rd. Look, the Japanese. How good's your Japanese, eh? How good's your Japanese? Yeah, you've played a bit of Shenmue, but you're not as good as him, right? That's almost right. So, Virtua Fighter 3rd is a great beat-em-up. It's a great looking game. It's got a lot of character. Each individual fighter's style is distinctive, and I rate it very highly, but there's other games that you need on the Dreamcast. And some of them are a bit more oddball. Like, you may have heard of a game called Choo Choo Rocket. I've got it. I haven't got a box copy though, which is why I'm not showing you the box. But Choo Choo Rocket, how can you describe it? Imagine being insane and then turning that into a game. You've got to put mice onto a spaceship, and if you put more mice on a spaceship than your friends, you win. But if a cat accidentally gets on your spaceship, it kills the mice, and you have to start again. Now, if I pitch that to you, you'd be like, oh, I'll leave that to me, actually. I'd rather go back to my Virtua Fighter 3rd, if you don't mind. However, when you play it, it changes your life. It is a fantastic game. I haven't got the other game you really need, which is it Space Radio? Space Radio something, I can't remember what it is, I haven't got it now. But that's like a dance rhythm game where you're a space reporter and aliens have taken over a space station and you can only beat them with the power of dance. Why not? This is a game, right? It don't have to be real. It could be anything. It's pretend. It looks better when I do that, doesn't it? Hey, there we go. Right, so that's the Dreamcast. I recommend getting one. They're about 40 quid. Check it works. Check it's got all the cables. don't get one with coax aerial cable. Get one with an AV out. Get a controller. Now, don't worry about controllers, because for some reason, Dreamcast controllers and accessories are dead cheap. And I'm not even kidding. There's that guy in Derby, there's an Eagle Market Derby, like retro game shop, and he's got brand new box sealed VMUs for like £4 or something. My theory, and I've discussed this with Adam at Born to Game, is possibly someone's just found a shipping container that's just full. It came over late. Oh, what's in there? Open it. Oh, it's full of Dreamcast stuff. Or they just made all the consoles, stopped making them, kept making the accessories long after demand went. I don't know. But you can get controllers really easily. You can get VMUs and stuff really easily. The pig's getting the good games. Shenmue is the... I've left that till last because that's the sort of legendary Dreamcast game. And that fluctuates in price massively. I believe CX is selling it for £18 now. And I'm sure, I had a discussion with someone and they said they got all three for like £100, but I'm sure the original Shenmue used to be like £100 used. And then all of a sudden it started to lose value. I can't tell, I can't be sure because I don't know, but that's my perception, that's my half-baked dopey memory. So it's a great game. You play as a Japanese teenager whose dad gets killed by ninjas, so you go off and hunt down the ninjas, but in the meantime you hold down a full-time job driving a forklift and stuff. It's criticised because it's real time, so you drive your fork, you go to work for a day, and then at night you have to go and find your dad's killers, but you have to work for the day. And if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you've blown it. You've got to go wait till the next day. But that's in essence the Dreamcast, right? If you've got a friend that's got one, have a look, have a play. You will get one yourself because they're mint. Check it works when you get it, because obviously laser products, they're always going to start going iffy around the edges. If you have any questions about buying retro games, leave a message. I'm perfectly happy to answer questions. And also there's a gaming group on Facebook called Game Trader. If you join that, then I'm on there, and you can ask people on there for advice. And you can also buy this kind of stuff that I've just shown you. So as ever, thanks for watching. If you like, subscribe and like, share with your friends, and get out there and find yourself a Dreamcast. You don't have to. Don't know why I'm giving you that. You don't have to. But get yourself a Dreamcast. You won't regret it. Bye-bye.